Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andrew Seegers, and this time we're joined by Ash Paulson to discuss the news that Mario is missing. Sort of. So let's get started. There was an interview recently from Reno Gazette-Journal with Bill Trinen, and it covered some interesting ground, although, a lot of it he couldn't actually exactly answer. But there was one piece of news that came out of here recently that was kind of interesting, and that's the fact that they were talking about releasing too many of the same IP. And Bill Trinen noted that Mario games tend to be pretty frequent, but this year they don't have a new Mario game coming, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's something we touched on a little bit in our 2015 discussion, but now that we know for sure there's no Mario coming, I thought, let's talk about this. So to me, the interesting thing about this is that he lied, because Mario Maker is clearly coming out. So what this means is, obviously he's talking about the core Mario games, like the 3D games, I'm guessing, like Super Mario 3D World, or Mario Galaxy, or Mario Sunshine, those type of games. But I guess I also wonder, does it also apply to the 2D games? I mean, he's already made an exception clearly for Mario Maker. Does that rule out any other Mario games at all? Like, what's your take on this, Ash?
My take on it is it probably just includes, the core 3D titles. I guess there's a chance we could see like another DLC 2D title, in the vein of New Super Mario Bros. U or Luigi U. But my guess is that he really does mean mainly 3D Mario titles, although that could just mean 2D as well, and that we're really only going to see spin-offs such as Mario Maker and Mario Party 10 this year.
Yeah, I mean, right, so Mario Party 10 will be another exception. So clearly he's talking about just the main Mario games. Yeah, and if Mario Maker comes with his own adventure, it's like we're not really missing out on much, right? I mean, you can already download other people's levels too. It's basically getting a whole bunch of Mario games in one. I'm more curious then about what this means for the future of Mario in general. Like, do you think we'll see another Mario on the Wii U, or do you think it's possible they may hold off? But I'm leaning toward the latter at this point. I think they may actually hold off, save the next big 3D Mario for the next console, and just ride out what they have now.
I'm not sure. I guess it depends on really how they see the Wii U's lifespan kind of shaking out. Because if they are going to try to introduce a new console in 2016, then I think you could be right. I think they could be holding off a new, mainline Mario title for their new system. But that does seem like a little soon to kill off the Wii U, especially for supporters, who have been there since day one. So I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking until Bill Trinen said that. I've been thinking that we would probably see Super Mario Galaxy 3 on the Wii U, maybe in 2016. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe not. It's hard to say, but it does seem like the Wii U could use more than one, really core Mario title. It just seems like Galaxy 3, I don't know. I've always felt like it was pretty likely for the Wii U.
It would make sense, right? I mean, that game already, it still looks great. Basically, just making that in HD would look fantastic. They already have a template for what they need. It seems, it basically would seem like what Super Mario 3D World was to 3D Land. Galaxy 3 would be what, to Galaxy 2. As in, it wouldn't be a gigantic undertaking, relative to making an entirely brand new, earth-shattering Mario game, if that makes sense.
Right.
Along the lines of, Mario 64, or even Galaxy 1. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it really does depend on when they plan on launching their next system. But if you look at Nintendo's history, 3D Marios don't come out that often. There was one on 64, there was one on GameCube, and then on Wii we actually got two, which is the exception with Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And so far with Wii U, we've gotten one of them being Super Mario 3D World. Now, I guess the question is, do you think Nintendo considers 3D World to be in the same exact vein as those other Marios, or do you think it's more of a spin-off type thing?
I think they consider it in the same vein as the other titles, because they said, if you remember, a lot of interviews and a lot of discussions leading up to 3D World's release, even Nintendo themselves called it, a core 3D Mario title. Mm-hmm. Even though it wasn't what a lot of people were expecting, I don't think. It certainly wasn't what I was expecting. I think Nintendo themselves definitely consider it a 3D Mario title.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I guess that if that is a Mario game, or if they consider that to be a main 3D Mario game, then I think it's possible that might be it for this generation. Again on Wii 2 was kind of the exception, and they only did it because they already had a lot of the assets already created. Or it started off as basically a Mario Galaxy Plus, which then evolved into Mario Galaxy 2. So, going off that line of thought, then maybe our best hope would be Mario 3D World 2. Although I can't help but feel like it would almost be too similar, but I don't know. I mean, I thought the same about Mario Galaxy 2, and that game turned out to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's only so far you could take the 3D world concept, though. I mean, even a lot of the worlds or a lot of the levels in the extra worlds past the end of the game were retreads of levels that came before. Like, they were, different. They were harder challenges in the same courses that came before. So I'm not really sure how much more they could do with the 3D world concept. And I mean, I like 3D world, but it just wasn't as grand and really as challenging thematically as the Galaxy games were.
Yeah, and well, maybe that's room for them to explore then in 3D World 2. Because Mario Galaxy 2 even reused a level from Mario Galaxy. So I don't think 3D World reusing levels. I think that was just saving themselves designing new levels.
Right.
Instead of being out of ideas. Yeah, so I feel like they could build on this still. Just as 3D World built on 3D Land, and that might make the most sense for them. Especially if they're looking to create content quicker and cheaper ultimately for the Wii U audience. But I will say, games on the Wii U are still selling pretty well despite the smaller demographic. So I'm not sure how much that exactly factors in, but I do feel like if there is another big revolutionary 3D Mario in the works, I think they would save it for the next system. I think at best we'd expect a 3D World 2 or Mario Galaxy 3.
Oh, and I also kind of wonder what this means for HD remakes. I wonder if Bill is including that possibility in what he said.
I don't think he is.
No?
Or to clarify, I don't think he's talking about that. So I think that's still a real possibility.
Okay.
I mean, if they were to, but I think that would make a ton of sense to re-release. What they could do? We talked about this in our 2015 discussion with the Mario Galaxy pack. Why not throw Mario Sunshine in there too? They already have the conversion software. They released a triple pack of the modern or modern-ish 3D Mario games. That'd be huge.
Oh yeah, I would buy that in a second, and I would buy it at a premium price too.
I'll buy it at a high price.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, no, it really would be awesome, and Sunshine would look so good on the Wii U.
It would look fantastic, especially if they went back and cleaned up those water effects even more. But they look good then. But they could look really fantastic in 3D. And again, as I've said before, I would love to see what all they can do to enhance that game even further. Now that they've had 15 more years of game development since then.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be kind of killer. And and the Wii, as we all know, is basically just a pumped up GameCube. So they would presumably be able to use the same software they made for the Wind Waker HD conversion here. So it would make sense to just throw in all three games, basically making it a modern Super Mario All Stars, Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Yeah, and honestly, I would take that in lieu of a new 3D title. If we do have to wait for the next console for a new 3D Mario title, I think that would be a perfectly fine substitution, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I thought Mario Galaxy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would prefer a brand new Mario game. Yeah. But I also, I do like going back to the classics and being able to play those, easily on my Wii U in HD would be great. And plus whatever other improvements they add. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and play the Galaxy games now, and they still look stunning. I mean, obviously they're in standard definition, 40p, you can tell, but they still look great.
They do. I just did the cool bits for Mario Galaxy 2, and that game holds up, man.
Yeah, it really does, and I think even honestly, the texture work as it is wouldn't really need a whole lot of redoing. The games look great as they are. Just up the resolution and maybe redo the textures a bit, and you're good to go. I mean, the character models already look great. The lighting's already great. I mean, there really isn't. There would be less work to do on those titles, I think, than there would be the Wind Waker.
That'd be a good way of giving us a Mario game this year, without being too much effort, I would think. So yeah, Mario doesn't seem to be getting a new 3D entry. Maybe a 2D entry, but I still think that's covered by what Bill Trinen said. But there are, and actually, we already have that one exception being Mario Maker coming, as well as Mario Party 10. So Mario still is being represented this year, and I know for me at least, I'm really excited for one of those titles. The other one I don't care at all about. So
let me guess, you care about Mario Party 10, but you're not excited for Mario Maker at all.
You know me too well, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario Party 10, I really do hope it turns out well. It might be a fine game. Just knowing, what we've seen of it and knowing how that franchise has evolved does not leave me too hopeful for it. But Mario Maker, that is actually something new. That is something that's really cool. They're doing some new things there. I love the idea of it, and I'm really excited to see how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, we mentioned this in our previous Mario Maker discussion around the Game Awards, but I'm really excited for it now, a lot more than I was before, just with the different themes and the different possibilities. I'm hoping we see some more themes revealed. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. Again, I'm not a super creative type person, so I'm probably not going to make a lot of my own levels, but I'm really excited to see what people come up with. I'm hoping Nintendo, there's some official Nintendo levels included to play around with. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for it. And as for Mario Party 10, my fiance and I are actually, we like playing Mario Party games together, and we have friends over to play various party games. So the Mario Party series does see some play in our apartment. And, Mario Party 9 we actually had a lot of fun with. I know it wasn't the most popular game in the series,
because
but
it was terrible.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't great, I'll grant you that, but we didn't really mind the mini-stars shake-up, the whole gameplay shake-up with the mini-stars. And I don't know, we had a good time with it. I thought it was a lot better than 8 and 7. And I don't know, I feel like 10 could be good. I'm not really expecting, amazing things from it, but I think it could be good, and I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah, the thing that leaves me maybe hopeful for 10 is, for one, I do like the 3 versus 1 minigame, or in this case, 4 versus 1 minigames, which are like the 3 versus 1 minigames from past Mario Parties, which I really enjoyed. But, it brings back the car mechanic of Mario Party 9, which I detested.
Yeah.
But they did say that, I believe they have said there is a classic-like mode in the game. So, there's still hope, maybe, although I don't know how well that could turn out if that's not the focus of the game. But, we'll see. I mean, the game could turn out to be fantastic, who knows. But Mario Maker, for me, is where it's at. Like, I feel like that basically fills the Mario quota for this year by itself. It is, it's just a different type of Mario game. But, especially if it comes with its own adventure built in, which I'm almost sure it will. Yeah. I think that does a pretty good job representing Mario. But a 3D trilogy pack, Mario All-Stars 3D, or Mario 3D All-Stars, would be amazing. So,
right.
I guess my final question is then, what do you want to see from the next true 3D Mario game? Is there anything you have in mind for what you would like that to be?
Man, I mean, this is such a boring answer because I'm not really, again, I'm not the creative type, but I kind of want to see another Galaxy game just because I love the Galaxy series so much. But I know that's the safe answer. I mean, right. But again, where do you go from Galaxy? I mean, they already kind of revolutionized the genre. Nintendo already kind of revolutionized to begin with Super Mario 64. So after you've created and recreated a genre, where do you go from there? I mean, Galaxy was so epic. Where do you go? I mean, I can't wait to see what their answer to that is, but I can't think of where you go, the upward trajectory from Super Mario Galaxy that's already so grand in terms of scale. Super Mario Universe? I mean, honestly, where do you go from there?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. Mario Galaxy was epic. Mario Galaxy 2 was at least as epic. And I'll be honest, when they announced Mario Galaxy 2, I was hesitant. Like, I loved Mario Galaxy, but it seemed almost too soon, too similar, and yet that game blew me away all over again. So if they can keep doing that, that'd be awesome. Like, I've already thought of situations that, for a third Galaxy they could do, just on a per level basis. Like, no grand ideas overall. But, like, I thought it would be fun to hop around, like, say, an asteroid field or something. Right. Hopping like asteroid to asteroid. I feel like there's still a lot of stuff they could do with that idea that they haven't yet explored. With that said, although I would like to see a Galaxy 3, I would actually like to see them take it maybe a little bit smaller in scope, in a sense, and that's return to something a little bit closer to Mario 64. We've had a lot of Mario platforming games recently, between 3D World, the Galaxies, and the 2D games, that have put the emphasis purely on basically straight up platforming. I would love to see some more adventure type elements like rolled into the mix. That's what Mario 64 did so well. Like, that game was so much about exploration, and it's something the series has kind of forgotten. Sunshine touched on it a bit, and then Galaxy basically omitted it entirely. Which, don't get me wrong, it was a great game, partially because of that. But I would love to see them taking what they've learned from Galaxy now, with those mechanics, and bringing back some kind of adventure type elements. Like creating a larger world you can actually explore in a non-linear fashion.
Yeah, I would like that a lot. That's one of the things I miss the most about the recent 3D Mario titles, is that sense of exploration you got from Mario 64, like, slowly being able to explore Peach's castle, more and more as you get more power stars. So I do want to see that make a comeback. And another thing I'd like to see make a comeback too, which I don't think will happen unless Miyamoto is not in charge of it, is bring back the non-invasive but epic feeling of the story in the first Galaxy game. Galaxy 2 threw all that out the window with the you know, the first game had the storybook elements, which I loved because it was non-invasive. It didn't feel cutscene heavy, but it told an epic, surprisingly poignant story for a Mario game. And then Galaxy 2 kind of famously threw all that out the window because, and Miyamoto has said this, because he just didn't feel like story had any place in the Mario game. And that actually, to me, kind of made Galaxy 2 feel less epic and less enjoyable to me. I love that kind of, that really, just the emotional connection you had with the first Galaxy game, and how kind of sad Rosalina's story was, surprisingly, for a Mario game.
It was. I mean, like, I think I actually teared up during that.
Yeah, me too. And I want to see that come back. I feel like, Mario should never be story heavy and cutscene heavy and all that. But I feel like there's untapped potential there with the Galaxy kind of hinted at, where you can tell a more epic story in a Mario framework, and it can still work, and it doesn't feel like you're getting too story heavy or too, cutscene heavy, which I absolutely believe Mario should avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I've always been a gameplay first kind of guy, so I don't ever want the story to come at the expense of gameplay or encroach upon the gameplay. But as you said, Mario Galaxy did it well, and it would be cool to see something like a return to that, because a story does, having a story does help lend a sense of epicness or meaning to the game. And Mario 64 or Mario Galaxy did that great by giving you the context for Rosalina and the Lumas and all, and everything that was happening there. Basically, it was Mario lore, right? And how often do you get that?
Right, and the stakes just felt higher too. I mean, the whole thing about you have to go, Mario has to save Peach at the center of the universe. I mean, the stakes just felt higher. It felt epic. Bowser felt like he was really doing something pretty nasty this time, without it being too nasty. You know what I mean?
Right.
It felt, and the whole world got recreated at the end. I mean, spoiler alert. But I don't know. It felt epic without feeling too heavy-handed or feeling too self-important. And I love that about it. Yep,
I'm with you. All right, well, I think that wraps up for us here. So hopefully we get some new Mario news soon, but it sounds like we won't be.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. And keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more Mario news and other things gaming as well. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.